Hello, welcome to the Chapter 3 Child Enrollment Forms training. This training is presented by the Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs, also known as ODE-CMP. In this training, we will go over the Child Enrollment Form, reviewing sections on the form and required information, and we'll also take a look at an example of a completed Child Enrollment Form. By the end of this training, you should understand what a Child Enrollment Form, or CEF, is and its purpose, as well as understanding what a complete and valid CEF form looks like. A CEF is a CACFP Child Enrollment Form. A completed CEF is required for every child in care that meals are reimbursed for, including participants enrolled in Head Start programs, infants, and drop-in participants. Meals may not be claimed for CACFP reimbursement without a complete and current CACFP Child Enrollment Form on file. The form is made up of sections that are to be completed by both sponsors and parents or guardians. CEFs must be completed annually. They are effective from the first day of the month in which the form was signed by the parent or legal guardian through the last day of the same calendar month 12 months later. CEFs are not required for outside school hour centers or at-risk after-school programs. Adult care centers are not required to annually update enrollment forms for adults receiving care, however, are required to maintain the original enrollment form that contains all the required information. As mentioned in the previous slide, some sections are required to be completed by the sponsor and others are required to be completed by the parent or guardian of the participant. These green sections are required to be completed by the sponsor. The OMER roster number, this is the number that corresponds to the line in which the participant is listed on the 1-month enrollment roster, or OMER. The CACFP sponsor name and site name must be completed by the sponsor. And if a sponsor has infants in care, the brand of formula must be completed prior to giving the form to the parent or guardian. The pink sections are the sections that parent or guardians are required to complete. The participant information, including child's name, normal hours, meals, and days in care, the parent guardian name and signature and date that the form is signed, and it's important to note that if the date or signature is missing from the parent or guardian, the form is considered invalid. If the participant is an infant, the parent or guardian must check one of the boxes in the infant formula section. Time for our first knowledge check. True or false? A sponsor may claim meals for a participant without a CEF on file. False. Any participant enrolled in the center and receiving CACFP meals must have a current and valid CEF on file in order for the sponsor to claim the meals. For our next knowledge check, we're going to review an example CEF. I'd recommend taking a minute to pause the video and review the example CEF on the slide. What sections on the form are missing or incomplete? Hopefully you've taken a minute to review the CEF. The missing or incomplete sections are the CACFP sponsor name and site, the normal days of the week the participant is in attendance, the parent or guardian signature. While the parent or guardian didn't print their name, the form is not valid without the signature as well. The center provided infant formula. This line is only required if the participant is an infant. If infants are in care, this line must be completed with the center provided infant formula. The sections missing from this form are common errors seen during administrative reviews. A quick tip to ensuring that all sponsor required areas are completed is to pre-populate those sections. It is important to note that dates and signatures cannot be pre-populated on these forms. Where can you find a CEF? The CEF can be found on the ODE-CMP CACFP public webpage. You'll find these forms under the CACFP Resources, Forms, and Documents column, and then under the Child Care Sponsors drop-down menu. To review, in this training we discussed that a CEF is a CACFP Child Enrollment Form, which is required to be on file for all participants receiving meals. We reviewed the sections of a CEF, including what makes the form complete and valid, sections completed by the sponsor, and sections completed by the parent or guardian. And lastly, we reviewed an example CEF form as a knowledge check, seeing some common sections that are missing or incomplete on the form. ODE CMP supports equity and excellence for every learner. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Thank you for taking this training.